Johnny, first of all, tell us, what is the Movement Centre?
Hi Stuart, well first and foremost thank you very much for inviting me down today. So the Movement Centre basically is a small kind of charity that's funded by the treatment that we provide, and the patients themselves or the parents pay for that treatment. So it's not funded by the NHS. So we fundraise and the parents also self-fundraise. But what we do is we provide targeted therapy treatment for children, primarily with cerebral palsy. So what you'll find is that during the development of the child, they will have stopped moving. So if you can imagine a child develops from the head downwards, and the natural evolution of that development is that a child then gets up and walks. At some point, a child with cerebral palsy will actually kind of get to a point where they can't move. What we do is we identify the segment of the body that's resisting and causing that obstruction, and what we do is we target the therapy to try and kind of ease that and to develop that muscle memory so that the child can build up the core strength to be able to get to the next segment. In some cases, it's not always possible. In the best case scenario, a child will come in and they will walk. In some cases, you'll get those children with a profound disability where actually we will only be able to teach them to move their heads. Now that doesn't seem a lot, but to a child who can't move their heads, that is life-changing, because it means that opens their access to software like Gaze, which means they can communicate with the parents, and that is life-changing for the family unit.
And you are based quite literally just down the road at the Robert Jones and Agnes Hunt Hospital, although you are a standalone charity in your own right.
We are indeed, yes. So we rent a facility at the back of the hospital, and a lot of our guys, because they're local, will know pretty much everyone that works in the place, and it's a bit like a kind of a family mafia in there. But in actual fact, we are standalone. We are self-funded, and we are a charity in our own right. Albeit we are co-located on the same site.
And you've been involved with the charity since last year. What attracted you in the first place?
Well, I was in the army for 29 years, so I kind of did a lot of globe-trotting in that time. When I left the army, I went to the Middle East. I worked for 3.5 years. After there, I took a job in Brussels and then in Portugal. And eventually my wife said, come on, let's settle down. And when I say settle down, it was me that was gallivanting all around the world. She was actually based in Shrewsbury. So I was actually looking for an opportunity that was local, but not really in the private sector. I wanted something that was going to give something back, and just one of them, moments of serendipity, where I came across the advert in LinkedIn, and literally it was an hour to go before the closing time. They wanted a covering letter. There wasn't a time enough to do that, so I just chucked in the CV, and I got the job.
And you are actually a Shrewsbury Town season ticket holder?
Yes, I am. Yeah. And also, while I was in Portugal, I was a season ticket holder at Benfica. So one week I was watching Benfica with 60,000, and the next week Shrewsbury with 5,500, 6,000.
And while you've been talking, there's been clips of you in the background doing various exercises, getting quite physical. The Captain Tom 100 Challenge, what's that all about?
Well, you recall last year when the COVID pandemic started, there was an old gentleman called Captain Tom. And he basically just set out, I think it was to raise a few £100 for the NHS, and it just took the nation by storm. And I think what resonated was his positivity. He was an ex-military guy. He looked very, very smart. He got up every day and he did his 100 laps. And really, it was in celebration of the 100 years of his life. This year, unfortunately, in that time, unfortunately, he was knighted, and then he unfortunately passed away. However, his legacy continues, and there's a foundation called the Captain Tom 100 Foundation, and they, in conjunction with the London Marathon, have come up with this Captain 100 Challenge. So we've taken it upon ourselves to actually volunteer to do something relating to the number 100. So, for example, one of my colleagues is doing 100 holes of golf in one day, which is just as well, because if it was me, it'd probably take me 3 days to do that kind of number. And in a moment of madness, I decided I was going to do 500 sets of crunchies, 500 crunchies, 100 sets. So that's 50,000 crunchies over 30 days.
How's it going so far?
Well, I don't know. I could just about squeeze into this top, so hopefully in about 3 weeks' time, it might be a little bit trimmer.
Well, Johnny, thank you for your time today. And finally, if people want to support, get involved in some way, not only in this particular project that you're on right now, but with the charity as a whole, what can they do?
Well, there's two ways. On a day-to-day basis, you can visit our website, the Movement Centre. If you put it in the Movement Centre, Osler Street, it'll get you there. But you can go to our Just Giving page. And if you go to the Captain Tom 100 page itself, you can actually select us from the pick list in there. And trust me, every penny makes an absolute difference to a charity of our size. So thanks in advance, and also thanks to TNS for affording me this opportunity today.
It's our pleasure.